That's what it takes to get places. That's what it takes to become successful. That's what it takes to create the purpose in your life that's going to make it worth something instead of just surviving.
The millennial generation is as follows.
Welcome to
Surrounded by Idiots
Radio Podcast.
Helping you help yourself in some crazy uncle sort of way. This is the Surrounded by Idiots Radio Podcast. Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Tony Dufresne, PhD, back with you this week. Really great to be back. This week, of course, we have our 3 good feel stories of the week, and then I'm going to roll right into how big of an obstacle is it that you're overthinking everything. Let's get to the 3 good feel stories of the week. The first one is about a 94-year-old California veteran, and he stands outside of a school, and he fist bumps with middle school students on their way to class. And he's a Navy veteran. His name is Wally Richardson. And the kids are at, looks like it's Marina Village Middle School in El Dorado Hills, California. And they can't get enough of Richardson because he gets up every morning and rolls over to the school and greets the students with smiles and words of kind wisdom as they go into the school. Now, one of the kids interviewed said he talks about kindness and he gives us advice and fist bumps. And she said it's the best part of the day. Now, Richardson has been standing outside the school dispensing his goodwill one fist bump at a time for the last 10 years or so. And his wife used to accompany him, but she doesn't walk so well anymore. And so he's out there continuing on the tradition. And he said that some kids that are in college now still remember how he greeted them. The second good feel story of the week, it's about Home Depot. Home Depot workers, they built a lemonade stand for a boy with cancer. Now, an 8-year-old Florida boy wanted to raise money for a family friend who is battling, a kid who is battling an aggressive form of childhood cancer. Dawn Redman and her son Christian, they called the Home Depot store with a hope that they'd consider making some sort of donation or giving a discount on the items so they could build the lemonade stand. Well, they agreed to give Dawn and her son Christian the supplies, but when Dawn and Christian showed up, they discovered that some of the Home Depot staff actually built a super cool looking lemonade stand for them. And Dawn said to know that people still exist and do things like this just makes me so happy. She said, you all went above and beyond, and I cannot thank you enough. The Home Depot in Apopka is the best. And even more encouraging result from her interaction with Home Depot is that other businesses, including Home Depot, are now helping with the fundraiser that initially it was tough to get any support at all. The third story, fun story of the day, is going to be about a 12-year-old battling leukemia, and she received more than 1,000 postcards, including one, I guess Tom Hanks heard about it and sent her one. So her name's Aspen Kelly, and she dreams of traveling the world, but her leukemia doesn't allow her to go very far right now. She's going through treatment. So instead, the Oklahoma preteen is exploring places from all over the world through thousands of postcards sent from well-wishers, including one signed by Tom Hanks. She said, she goes, I really didn't expect it, and I feel very thankful. She said, I just don't have anywhere to put all the cards. So her treatments don't allow her to travel. So ahead of her 13th birthday, which is on September the 1st, Aspen requested through Facebook that people supporting her in her journey send her postcards, and she was shocked that she got all these postcards. She says that she hopes to feel better from the chemo in time for her birthday when she plans to read through all the postcards. So those are the 3 good feel stories of the week. Today, it's about overthinking the room. And 2 reasons why I'm talking about this today. The first reason is that I do this all the time, personally. The second reason is because I hate to say use absolutes, but like every single client that I've ever worked with comes in, and that's a big thing with them. They're overthinking the room. Well, I got this, and I got the funny thing is, I call it the I don't know. Have you done this? It's the, well, I've got this, and I don't know, and I don't know, and what they're saying is they're saying that they do know. They're explaining that they do know, and then at the end they say, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? You just told me that you do know. You do. I mean, just because there's a lot of options, or the fact that it's confusing, you still know. You know exactly what's going on. It's just that you can't figure it out. So that's the I don't know from overthinking the room. It's so easy to do too, and one reason I find it really more predominant now than I think it was back in the Gen X days or the baby boomer days is because of social media and how young adults, and I'm probably who I'm talking to because my 90% of my clientele is 23 to 38 or 37. You guys have been brought up or going through the social media thing where you're really getting every single day you're getting programmed on FOMO. You're getting programmed on overthinking the room because all these options and all these other people doing stuff, which makes you second guess what you're doing, which is terrible because that's you're taking yourself out of your own path and you're looking at somebody else's path because they're further, technically, well, what you think it is, they're further along in their success, which is completely untrue. And again, you got to get away from that because that makes you start overthinking the room. Now, all of a sudden you're thinking, wait a minute, am I doing something wrong? Or should I be doing this? Or should I move here and do this? Or should I change jobs? Or should I start this gig? Because you're seeing other people's highlight reel and you're thinking that they've got there faster or they had a better formula, which is absolutely not the case most of the time because if they have a particular formula that they follow, you can kind of take a look at what the formula is. But it depends on each person individually, and you've got to figure out your own gig and then move forward. You can always learn from other people's success. Absolutely. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you start, when you have your feet in a certain direction and you're kind of rolling through, and then you see this person and they're going a little bit this way, and then you see this other person, they're going a little bit the other way. And then you see this other person that's very successful, and it seems like they're going the opposite direction of where you're going. That's where the overthinking comes in and the second guessing comes in. When that happens, you freeze. And what happens is, this is because of, like social media and smartphones and apps. This is too many choices. As human beings, when we have too many choices in front of us, we don't make a choice because it gives us too many options and we get overwhelmed. And sometimes, depending upon who the person is, sometimes if you have 3 or 4 choices, it's very hard for you to make that choice because it's just too many in that circumstance. Because what do you think in your head when you have 4, 5, 6, or 10 choices? What do you think in your head? I don't know which one's the best. So now, all of a sudden, you're comparing 10 different things, and you're trying to sum up in your head quickly, well, if I do this, it'll go this way. And if I do this, I can get this far. But if I do this, and if I do... And see how that's really screwing you up? Because you don't know. When you see something initially, you really don't know where that's going to lead you to. So what I want to do is I want to talk about a solution. And the solution to overthinking the room and keeping yourself stuck by considering so many choices the solution is, again, reframing. And I mention this all the time because this is huge. Reframing is one of the most effective tools you can use day in, day out to create the life you want. Because I got to break it to you. The life you want or the life you're looking for is right in front of your damn face. You're just not looking at it because again, it's the selfie thing. You got the selfie straight up instead of making the turn and angling it differently. It's about angling it differently so you're creating opportunities, or you're seeing opportunities, or you're seeing the world a little bit differently, or you're attracting people that are going to be good for you, or opportunities that are good for you. So that's what it is. And yes, there could be a better choice out there, right? Because if you choose a job, you get out there, you're in a job and it's crappy, so you're looking for another one. Or you just get out of school, looking for a job, and you go out there and you see this some ABC company, and they're like, well, okay, it's not like the greatest thing in the world, but there are some parts of it that will work for me, at least at this time, in terms of getting my feet wet and getting into that setting, and because there are certain parts of that job that I know I need help, or I need to work on, or I need to learn how to do it in order to further my career in whatever career that you want to get into. So there are a lot of choices out there, but the thing that's holding you up is that whole best thing, or right, every single time. Well, I don't know what the right thing to do is, or I don't know what the best choice is. Well, I got to tell you, nobody does. And there's no way you can know. And I think that's the most important thing I can stress right now. You cannot know what the best choice is or the right choice is. You can only go with your gut on this, and follow me because it may not be what you're thinking. Here's the little life hack. I call it the Big Three list. The Big Three list is just sit down with yourself, without your damn phone, with a cup of coffee or a beer or whatever, and write down the 3 things in your life. Just 3. Just if you want to do more, fine. But I'm saying the 3 most important things in your life, or the things that you want your life to be. Right? That's all. So, for instance, 3 things. I want loving relationships in my life, or I want a job that fulfills me, and it won't consume my life, so I can travel. Or I want something that I can travel and do on my own. Or let's see, jobs, relationship, career, or I want a career that serves other people, as many people. So also you have to put down the 3 things that matter the most to you. I mean, let's simplify this. What do you want your life to be about? Because it doesn't have to be about anything except for what you want it to be. And if you want your life full of lots of relationships, then you can do that. If you want your life full of one single focus in terms of just going balls out on this entrepreneurial venture or something, and you want to create something that's going to change the world, then you can do that. It does, if you want a life with a family and children and being around your other family, you can do that. What are the important things in your life? What are the things that if something else comes up, you're going to say, no, I'm good. If your friends call up and say, hey, we're going out. We're going to have a couple drinks and, go out and kind of, bar hop or whatever. What is it that in your life that would be more important than a distraction like that? And then write your 3 down. That's it. Write your top 3 priorities in life in terms of the things that you want your life to be about. When you do that, here's what's going to happen. When you come up against an overthinking situation, or a situation where there's a lot of choices, or even 2, even you hit a crossroads, all you have to do is, first of all, understand there is no best choice and there's no right choice. So let those things go, because you're putting too much pressure on yourself to make a decision without any information, because you'll never know, right? If you're at a crossroads and you have to pick one road, then you just, for some reason, hopefully you just don't sit there and die, which overthinking, that's what it is. Overthinking is you're literally walking down a path and then it forks. There's like 2 paths. It kind of forks into 2 different directions. And you just stand there and do nothing. Day after day after day after day until you die. And that's exactly what overthinking is, because you don't make a choice. So what you have to do is you can sit there and go, okay, this goes to the northeast and this goes to the northwest, and to the northeast is, I don't know what's up there. I mean, Cleveland might be up there, or hey, do I want to go to Cleveland? I don't know if I want to go there. I mean, again, you take the information that you can get from that thing, but you're only going to have limited information. When you start guessing or assuming things, that's when things get all screwed up and you just go haywire, because you can assume anything. Well, if it goes this way, then there's a forest, and what if I get in the forest? And then what if? That's where things screw you up, and that's when you start spinning your wheels and nothing happens. So if you come up to the fork in the road, you make a decision. So let's say you go on the northwest path. If you choose that path, you have changed your reality in making that choice. And if you think back in terms of, did I make the right choice? You will never know. You'll never know. If you went a half a mile or a mile down that path, you'll never know if you made the right choice or not. Even if you come back, and then go to the fork and then go up to the northeast, because you know what? You haven't followed that path all the way through. You don't know what's on there. You don't know the good things that are on that path. You don't know the crappy things that are on that path. You'll never know. And that's the whole point. You'll never know if it's the best choice, and you'll never know if it's the right choice. It's just the choice. And the only thing that you have to go with the top 3 things. That's all. Or if you want to make it 5, make it 5. I don't care. Don't make it really long and stupid, because all those questions will never be answered, or all those things will never be checked off. Top 3 things. So if you come up against a decision, let's say it's a career decision. So are your top 3 things, like in terms of career, like workload and hours, or is it, does the company have to align with your purpose, or what's the pay or the benefits, and what's the culture of the company? I mean, those could be, top 3 stuff. Relationships are the top 3 things that you need. Similar life direction, similar worldview, attractiveness, physical attractiveness. And I don't care what anybody says, you got to have that. Sorry, you got to have that. That's from a guy and girl's perspective. You have to have that aspect, because if you don't have that aspect, then you're going to be looking somewhere else for it. That's just the way it is. So those are the things you've got to make so that's it. Make a big 3 list in terms of the most important things that you need to take care of. And then when something comes up, when a choice comes up, you say, okay, if I make this choice, does it align with the importance of relationships in my life? Yes. Does it align with the importance of quality time, or me being flexible enough to travel? Yes. Does it align with me and my financial responsibilities and making enough money and kind of stuff? Yes, it does. Well, then you have all those 3. And again, there's a good chance when you have multiple choices, you'll have a number of those choices that will have all 3 of those. But at least you've narrowed down in that realm at least those 3 things that you absolutely need. And so you're not just going way off the reservation and saying, I'm just going to, what do I pick? What do I pick? Even though a lot of the choices may be way out of that and have nothing to do with the things that are the most important to you in your life. So that's how you make it easier and not overthinking the room, because nothing gets done when nothing gets done. Action is the key to everything. And I'm going to say this every single week, I think, because I need to stress it. If you don't take action on something, you'll never do anything. You just won't. There's so many smart people in the world that read books, read, and that's an action in and of itself, but really not, right? Because it's just bringing the information in, but not doing something about it. So again, you're either if you're not sleeping, you're either a consumer or you're a creator. So how much of a percentage of your life do you consume things versus how much of a percentage in your life do you create things? And I'm telling you, there's probably a good chance that you can create more than you're consuming right now. Because I think everybody can create more than they're consuming. Because we're in a consumer society, and especially with social media, that is feeding right in to that consumerism and consumer society. Because what do? Stay on the phone. Flip. Social media, what are you doing there? Are you doing anything? You're not doing shit. You're consuming information instead of doing something with the information. You're not creating. So I'm trying to get you to create more, a little bit more than you have in the past, instead of consuming more. So if it's like consuming at 80% and creating at 20%, I'd like you to go to at least 25% on the creation and then less on the consuming. That's using the big 3 list, so you don't overthink the room and you take action. Taking action is the most important thing. The entire third half, wow, this is a finance major. The entire third of my book, at the end third of my book, is all about taking action and taking you through baby steps. I'm not trying to hawk my book right now. I'm just saying, if you don't take action on anything, then you just sit on the couch and you consistently just go to the next podcast and the next podcast, or you get another book and another book, you're not going to do shit. And you're going to sit there and you're going to be 80 years old reading self-help books and being at the same place that you were when you were 23 or 25. Get out there and fucking do something, because it takes you doing something and then it not working out the exact way you thought, and then you making adjustments and then doing it again in a different way. That's what it takes to get places. That's what it takes to become successful. That's what it takes to create the purpose in your life that's going to make it worth something, instead of just surviving. Because you're either a survivor or a thriver. And I'm hoping that most of the people that are sitting here watching this right now have already gone through that whole, are going through that survival mode. You know, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, look it up. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The first two levels are the survival levels: food, clothing, shelter, and some relationship stuff. Yeah, and a job and responsibilities and stuff like that. You need to get that house in order, and so you can start thriving and start expanding and start being more of a creator, because that's the whole point in all of this. And overthinking the room, I say overthinking the room because that's an old saying, but overthinking anything just keeps you stuck and doesn't get you into action mode. That's it. That's all I got today. If you have any rebuttals on that or a better way to look at it, then let me know, because I'm always open to different perspectives. That's the adult way to look at things. Do I think that this is exactly how it should be? Yes and no. I mean, it's exactly how it should be because I've seen it and it's worked. But again, there could be different angles. Again, it's reframing, right? There's not just one solution to anything. And so I love getting feedback, and I love other people having different perspectives on things because it expands me and expands my knowledge base, and it also expands my empathy and the ability to understand that other people also have good, solid perspectives that make sense. Some people are just whack jobs, but again, you don't know until you throw it out there, and that's why I do this podcast. So you can go to javabud.com and watch the podcasts, or listen to the podcast, or you can watch the videos, or you can go to the YouTube channel and watch the videos at The Java Bud. I'm on Twitter and Instagram and, the Facebook thing and all that kind of, dog and pony show. You can go to javabud.com if you haven't already and get I've got a freebie giveaway. It's just a PDF. You just put your email in and I send you a PDF. And it's like 7 phrases that, again, it's reframing. And it's 7 phrases that you can start to incorporate in your life every single day that'll create some subtle shifts and to get you to think in a better frame than where you're at now, in a more productive frame, and get you to create more. There's also the book. You can also get the book too. There's always that'll go to Amazon. You can listen on iTunes or SoundCloud or Stitcher. If you do go to my website, what I do is I set it up to where, and even off of the Facebook ads, I set it up to where when you do click onto my website, I have it in SoundCloud because that's where you kind of have to place it, and then it goes to iTunes and stuff. If you like iTunes and you work with it, I'm not a big fan of iTunes personally, but some people are, even though I have an iPhone, but I just don't like it. So you can go to that and you can just go to iTunes and just listen to it. It's it's the Surrounded by Idiots radio podcast. Hope things are good. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Tony@javabud.com, and I'll see you next week. Bye.